Oh, whenever I meet people, they are really bullish and they feel that after the pandemic, life has really turned around and all the business is booming and they feel excitement and everybody is happy with the way the business is growing. And I think it's a very positive sentiment that we can feel here at the conference, and it reflects what we see in the economy. See, if you really look at the current model of e-commerce, where there are some few large platforms enabling the sellers registered in their platform to be visible to the buyers registered in their platform. The problem with that model is that it is completely the sellers' terms of trade and the way they can service the client, everything is determined by the policies of these platforms. That's why you would see that while we saw the e-commerce growing humongously well in the last few years, if you really look at the penetration, in the buyer side it's only about 6 to 7% and the seller side just about a percentage. It means that a large cross-section of both buyers and sellers are not comfortable or are not familiar with the current model. So the advantage of open network digital commerce is gives equal opportunity for every kind of platform and every kind of sellers. So it is no more somebody's captive user base that is going to drive. It is what each entity has to offer. So if a small entity has something really exciting to offer, he gets the equal discoverability as against somebody large. And that is why it becomes a level playing field, which is going to be driven by, as I said, what they want to offer and not by any captive set of users. See, policy is going to be made by the government, so I am no person to comment on it. But the way I look at it is, when the policymakers see how ONDC is shaping and what's the vision of ONDC and the intent of the ONDC to broad-base the e-commerce sector, they will definitely be factoring the relevant aspects so that it will be an enabling policy. Because one of the challenges in the earlier stages would have been, because of the very limited participation, they would have had to worry a lot about managing this few entities. Whereas now we are going to have a large number of players coming in, so it will be more, the way I see it, it will be enabling this large participation in a very, very transparent fashion. So what we did in Bangalore is that we made it, the beta testing made it open to public at large at the Bangalore urban, and in the two segments which you know as grocery and food, because that's going to be the most difficult segment, and which was giving a comfort to the sellers and buyers that they can work in an open environment. So initially there had been, very slow amount of transactions being built in, because we are not gone to, the objective of it was to test out and give a confidence to the participating players it works well. So, and it's been working pretty well, and we have had very good response from the buyers as well as the sellers. And in the food, the delivery had been exceptionally good. Like practically all of them was delivered within 45 minutes. And that is giving us more confidence. In the coming months, what we plan to do is to make the intensity of the outreach to this Bangalore forum larger, so that we can see larger number of participation from the sellers and buyers. So we can show that in one city. And in the meantime, also add other domains. So we expect that the other domains like fashion, beauty and personal products, electronics, home decor and all of them being made available in the next 2-3 months' time. And we have already developed the protocol for that and given to the network participant, they're enabling. So now that we saw that the most difficult segment is sort of working pretty well, and we are going to enable the other segments come in. So then the city become irrelevant, because you also have, so for example, a fashion product. We have the intercity delivery logistics companies available like Shiprocket and eCart, etc. coming, and Grab is coming and all of them. So you might be able to buy something from Bangalore to Delhi, and when those things run out. So the beta testing is also going to enable, testing of all this broader cross-section to happen. That's not our immediate plan. As I told you, our beta testing first was to go deeper in a city and then show into, big cities is always the easier one, everybody is there. We have to show that small investors and small, consumers and small merchants have to show that they can work in smaller cities. So the hyperlocal will show in some more smaller cities. And then we, as I told you, we will also make other categories available. When the other categories are available, each of the category owner will try to reach across to their kind of customers. Some might be in big cities, some might be in small cities. So that's the kind of thing. So because we need to show that we need to just copy paste what's already done. So we need to say that we are enabling the broader cross section of buyers and sellers. So that's what we need to do. So that's the intent of this beta testing. So there are many ways bank can participate. Direct. So the banks can participate in two sides. Once on the buyer side and the seller side, either directly or through strategic association. So let's look at the buyer side. So what they're saying today, they have a pretty large consumer base for their banking business. If they want to extend directly or indirectly e-commerce to them, or help people to use mobility, or people to buy tickets or anything, ONDC will cover everything. They will have to go and tie up with all those separate ones. Whereas now if they create a smart buying application using ONDC protocol, they are suddenly are able to offer this broad cross section of people to their clients. And also, as you know, the banks, what are they strong at? They are also strong at giving credits. So they will be able to marry them without anybody coming in between. That's on the buyer side. Similarly, if they have strategic association with the seller platforms, and directly or indirectly, then they are able to bring their business users an ability to expose their catalogs to this larger network. And that can also help them to sort of further build on, again, the challenge of credit. For example, especially when it comes to small business users, the big challenge is to get credit because credit is based on asset. Now, this is going to give a lot of opportunity to provide flow-based lending, which is based on the actual business transaction, which are digitally valid and verifiable and is available to them. So that's why we believe that that is one sector who's going to really help and abet expansion of this digital commerce through ONDC.